What's up, y'all? I'm here with Black Label. Everybody say hi to Black Label. He's a heck of a calf horse. He's going to be my volunteer for today, but I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about your jerk line. Like, again, if you've watched any of the other videos in this series, a jerk line is something I could spend an hour and a half talking about. The length, how long it is, how many tucks you use. Do you use it left side? Do you use it right side? Do you go down the left side of the horse's neck? Do you go down the right side of the horse's neck? Does it tie to one shank or the other shank? Like, there's a million different ways to set up your jerk line. I'm going to show you some of the basics. If you want some more in-depth stuff, I do have a mentorship program you can check out. I go super deep on a lot of that stuff. But today with Black Label, we're just going to use this little old jerk line. And first things first, you got to make sure that your jerk line rolls freely within the pulley. You hear that? Try to get my microphone right there. One mistake I see people use, I see them using rings, I see them using a pulley or a pulley that is too small and it actually locks in here. So when it pulls tight, it sticks there. It's not moving out. And that to me is not good because we want our horses to be able to have aids that help them work properly, but we want them to work on their own. If your jerk line locks right here down and holds that horse there, that horse is going to be looking for release, looking for release, looking for release. And it ends up in horses dragging off. It ends up in horses walking sideways. To me, I like to teach, and then have training aids that help keep them honest, okay? And so from here, once we have our jerk line out, we know that it rolls freely. We're just going to run it down. And simple, easy way, I'm just going to run down the right side because I'm already here. Now, you can do the exact same thing, and I may even go over it on the other side. But the first thing that we're going to do, if you do not have a shank connector on your bit right here, is you're going to go through both shanks. Now, you can go through the left shank or the right shank first. I go through the right shank because I'm right-handed, okay? I'm going to go through the right shank. I'm going to go through the left shank. I'm going to stay behind the reins, okay? I'm never going to connect this with the reins on top. Stay behind the reins. I don't know if you can see that, but notice how the jerk line is behind the reins. If we were to flip it around, this gets bound up. It doesn't work properly. From there, you have to do a bowline knot. I see guys tying like weird wonky square knots and all this stuff. I'm like, don't do that because it pulls unevenly on both sides. For me, I'm going to do a bowline knot, simple, and I don't know if we can zoom in on this, but you can figure that out on YouTube by yourself. But you draw a loop, you drop it through, come through the X, up, over, and back underneath. I know that was fast, but you can find out how to do that on YouTube in about 2 seconds. Extra effort is how champions are made, okay? And I can already tell from this position, I can ride my horse, okay, here, okay? This is going to pull. It's not going to get in any obstructions. If we were to go underneath, the reins are going to bind up on it. You can run it down the left side. You can run it down the right side. If my horse pulls across me perfectly and it's good every time, I'm going to run it down the right side. If my horse wants to stop and pull to the left, I'm going to run it down the left side, okay? And that's basically the difference. When you're going down the left side, it works the same way. You come in from the opposite way, you stay behind the reins through the shank, and you're good to go. If you have a shank connector, which is what I typically use, you can just go to the ring in the middle of the shank, okay? And that's really it with the jerk line. Just make sure, you know, and I come from an old school, let's make sure our horses are not getting their heads ripped off whenever you get off the jerk line. The jerk line is a training aid, right? If your horse doesn't have a good enough mouth to respond off a jerk line just pulling easily, then they're probably not going to go work on their own anyway. So when you set your gear up right, make sure your jerk line's set up right, and you're ready to win.